What's good, fam? We gotta talk. Look, your fear of rejection and your trust issues is keeping you from literally what you want out of your life. And I know a lot of people, if you're anything like me, you're at a point where you know that you got trust issues because you have situations in your life that literally show you and put you in a state where you're uncomfortable or you don't really trust, or you in a situation where you constantly avoid things that literally you want or you need out of fear of rejection, but you don't understand what the deal really is. And that's why I want to sit down and talk about trust issues and fear of rejection in this video, because today's Therapy Thursday, because there's so many people that are struggling and literally don't have what they want because of these two things. I don't want y'all to take as long as it took me to start, and I'm still a work in progress, but to take as long as it took me to even start being able to address what's going on so you can start moving towards what it is you want. So what I want you to understand, at the very least, when it comes down to your fear of rejection, what you gotta do at some point, if you haven't, ask yourself why. And not know just blatantly why, like, you know what, I don't want to get rejected, it sucks getting rejected. And for this example, I'm talking about dating or anything that you may be going for that you may be afraid is not going to work out. That falls in the category 2 of rejection. Really ask yourself, because that's something I had to do. I really had to sit down and really break down, okay, what am I really afraid of? What really is this where I'm missing out on opportunities because I just refuse to just show up and go for what it is I want? And a lot of times, if you're anything like me, you'll realize that, you know what? It's a story that you're telling yourself. It's something that happened earlier in your life, earlier down the road, and you just low-key afraid that that's going to happen again. That's really what it boils down to at the end of the day a lot of times. Or for a lot of people, if you're anything like me, and this is something I wasn't even aware of. I kind of knew that, old situations was kind of running the show in my life that was keeping me from going for girls that I wanted to date, opportunities that I wanted to go for, and was just afraid of getting rejected or things not working. But I was not aware that, with my upbringing, I did not grow up with my mom. There were a lot of times, majority, probably 85 to 90% of the time, I went without communication with my mother throughout my childhood. I can remember literally, there were points where I would go months. When I say months, I'm not talking about 2 or 3. I mean several months. And I don't hear from my mom. Even when I call, I don't hear anything, get anything back. And to be honest, it's still like that today. It's gotten a lot better, but that's an early sign of rejection. A lot of times, and I was afraid of my dad. My dad was in my life every step of the way, but I didn't feel like I could emotionally trust my dad. I was heavily disciplined. And like most people that grow up in the South, if you grow up in the South, there's a good chance that you grew up with an upbringing where you get heavily disciplined. A lot of people. I had an old school father. So I felt emotionally rejected. So with that being said, and I'm sharing that because I want you to understand your past, things that you experienced even before you were aware of them. Could be when you're a young kid that don't even have understanding of what life is, what relationships, what things are going on in your life. These are things that are going on in your life 9 times out of 10 that are affecting you, and you don't even know it. You don't have any understanding, but it's still affecting you. So, because you got to think, a lot of people don't think. Just because a lot of times you may not have memories at 2, 3, 4, 5, a lot of things you may not remember, but your brain, your mind keeps the score. All of those years while you were coming up, your mind was keeping score of your environment, your emotional state, the things that you heard. If you grew up hearing money is hard to come by, or things that would make people have trust issues around their security, around money. If you saw toxic things or was in a toxic environment where you didn't get hugs or people didn't get hugs, kind of like me. My dad gave me a hug every day, but I didn't get that feminine motherly love from my mother. I received that from my grandmother and a couple of aunts that helped raise me, but it still ain't the same. And even though I got those hugs from my dad, I was afraid. I grew up terrified of my dad. I never really said that or shared that, but I was terrified, petrified of my dad. It was to an unhealthy degree. It's one thing to respect somebody, but you should not be at a point of being fearful, not to that level. So I had emotional trauma around, rejection and neglect. So I'm sharing all of this. Trust me, just hang in with me. I know I threw a lot out there. I'm saying all of this because it matters. That's why when you go through things like that, that's why somebody like me would struggle for years going for the girls that I want, an opportunity. Because, when you feel threatened, your security, your safety, your emotional security feels threatened, your mind is going to do things to try and keep you from those things. And you'll put more emphasis on something where, like, literally for me, I don't know if any of you all can relate, going for a girl that I wanted to date or going for an opportunity, something I wanted to go for, where there was risk of embarrassment, shame, failure. To me, my brain treated it no different than, you know what, bro? If this don't work, this is a life or death situation. Wasn't the case at all, but that's how your mind processes things when you have trauma, things that you've experienced before you were old enough or at a point where you can understand how to differentiate between what's life or death versus what's not. And your brain can make that same comparison, and kind of tie the two together when you're in a situation that's gonna threaten your emotional safety and security and all of those things. So that's why I shared a little bit of my backstory so that you can understand. If you struggle with rejection, it ain't what you're dealing with right now. It's the old shit. So you got to sit down at the very minimum, and I said it early in the video, you got to sit down and ask yourself, why am I afraid of rejection? Start playing back your childhood, things that you can remember, moments where you can remember being rejected, and go to it. What I did was I went at the situation as if I was my own big brother. I was my own father that knew everything that I went through, how I felt, everything I experienced. And I pretended, you know what? If I was my own big brother, my own father that knows my son or my little brother went through these things, what would I tell him? What conversation would I have to build him back up, to encourage him and to empower him in a way where he can understand, you know what? Rejection isn't what it is or what you think it is. It's not life or death. And you know what? It's clear opportunity. And a lot of times, everything that you want is on the opposite side of the things that you're afraid of. Like for me, I had to tell myself, bro, there's a girl, like being afraid of being rejected, yeah, that can happen. But you know what? There's an amazing, beautiful girl. Hell, there's a lot of them that are waiting for a guy just like you. But if you can't get past this rejection, if you can't push past this and just go and take the actions, it's not gonna happen. And another thing that I told myself that I know will help a lot of you all out is to get to a point where you say, fuck the results. We put too much emphasis on the results because deep down, you think if you get rejected or accepted, that's gonna be a determining factor on if you're good enough, if you're worthy. And let me tell you something. Same thing I had to tell myself. You had self-worth And long before you ever knew what a girl was or whatever opportunity that you want to go for was, you had it. You were born with it. So it's all about letting situations in life make you not be able to see it, but you have it. And those are the things I had to tell myself, bro, fuck the results. Just take the actions. That's it. And when you start taking the actions, even despite being afraid of rejection or worrying about rejection, if you take power, if you don't really care about it, it's not life or death, you don't worry about it, that takes power away from it. That's literally how you slay the dragon. We've seen Mario, so many movies, and Shrek and other things where you got the dragon guarding the castle, guarding the treasure, guarding the girl. Your dragon in your life, a lot of times, that's your fear of rejection and your trust issues. You got to slay the dragon by facing it. You take power away from it, slay it, is by confronting it, facing it, 1. 2 is understanding, unlike in that situation where that would have been life or death, understanding this ain't a life or death thing, when you face it. And when you do face it and understand that, it's almost like if you've ever seen the movie where where something seems like it's a big and it's monstrous, and you may see like a huge shadow or something like that, and you think it's something in the movie. It appears as if something that can tear some shit up is coming. And then when you actually look at it, it's this little small little fur ball or small little animal or something. And you like, what the fuck? We've all seen a movie. I can't think of an example right now off the top of my head, but we've all seen a movie like that. That's what your fears are. It's not real. That's why the acronym for FAIR, FEAR, is false evidence appearing real. It's an illusion. It's literally not real. And when you confront it, you'll realize that. So I'm saying all of that because so many of you don't have the dating life that you want. So many of you have opportunities and things that you want to go after, whether it's hobbies, you want to become more social, create a social circle. You have hobbies or gifted talent where you want to go after something in your life, and you're not going for any of these things out of fear of rejection, fear of failure, all of these different things. Look, fam, you're enough. Whether it works or it doesn't determine if you're worthy, if you're accepted. You need to accept yourself. The minute you accept yourself, then you won't really, and truly do that, you won't really care if a girl accepts you or not. And you can just show up and just be like, this is an opportunity I want to pursue, I want to go after, and I'm going to go after. And I promise you, if you do that long enough, you do that often enough, and as many times, at some point, you're going to connect with somebody that it's just there. So I'm telling you that because I don't want y'all to take as long as it took me to learn that, you know what? Everything that you want is literally waiting on you. Quite literally waiting on you. But you got to show up, face it, and do your part. That's it. So, like I said, we're going to be diving more into it. I want y'all to let me know in the comments if y'all want a part 2, if y'all want me to break down fear of rejection even more. I honestly didn't even get down to trust issues. I'm honestly just going to put that on to the next one, do that in another video, and just do this one specifically, fear of rejection. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what areas you having a fear of rejection has shown up or hurt you in your life. And talk to me. And I want y'all to know if any of you all are struggling in these areas in your life. I have a community that's a self-development space specifically for helping people to heal, to level up their life, physically, mentally, emotionally, heal childhood wounds, become the best version of yourselves, create lifestyle success, financial success, all of it. I created a space specifically for it. So if that's something that sounds like resonates with you, make sure the information will be in the description. You can go and find that information, lock in with me, and let me help you level up your life. And if you really somebody that's working and you're even more serious and you need one-on-one help, I do offer one-on-one coaching services as well. If any of those things are something that you may be interested in or need help with, the information again is in the description. Y'all tap in with me and let me help you try and start moving towards what it is you ultimately want in your life. So I appreciate all of the folks that have been here and supporting me. I want you to know I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all of the love and the support. And if you're new here, before you get out of here, and that's for anybody, make sure you hit the like button. And if you know somebody that's struggling in these areas, share this and help me get this message out to other people that are struggling in these areas and need the help, so that I can really help as many people as possible. And if you haven't already subscribed, and I just want y'all to know and remember that, look, like I said earlier, where you go and what you do in your life, that's 100% all on you. Your dating life, your dream life, your aspirations, everything that you want is waiting on you. But you gotta show up, you gotta face your dragon and what you're afraid of, and do your part, and I promise you, you'll be there. So I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. This is D. Lee, and until next time, peace and love.